Did that work?
I don't know what we've done. They said, I don't like it though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
Sounds like she can hear you.
yeah. There's no echo.
Yeah, we're in here.
I don't have a visual yet, but that's fine. I don't need a visual. When you dropped, it dropped me.
There, see?
So
That's
okay. So I just gotta hit record and transcribe once we get officially started.
Yes.
Okay.
What don't you like about it, Brian?
I don't like being logged in on an off-site platform in a conference room that's not ours under my account is what I don't like. But
Okay.
I think we can close it all out afterwards. I don't know.
Well, yeah, what I would do when you are done, obviously leave the event or end the event, probably end the event because you're, yeah. And then I would log off. I would log off and shut your PC down.
Okay.
And then that way, when you leave that building, you should have disconnected everything.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
If
You're
any
not
people
happy.
should be able to join and hear us, and that is a win.
Now, are you going to be sharing your screen? Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Or is it just, or is it no PowerPoint? Is it just a discussion?
It's generally just a discussion.
Great, then you don't need to worry about that.
Everything has been sent to board members, and then those in person will have copies of them on site. Missing Julie, where?
Somebody just said that they weren't coming because of their plane.
Yeah, Janine. I saw that.
I heard my name and nothing else.
Well, you have the agenda pulled up, and I'm wondering why. I can't.
Because it's no longer my desk now.
But it's still showing them, which is fascinating.
Okay, can you do share?
That's what I'm on, and I'm confused. Screen, choose what you want to share. Go. Share. Can you see that?
I can.
Terrific. So the only other thing I need to figure out here.
It's going back and forth.
Well, so there's gonna be a voting process
Oh,
and I need folks. Can you chat me directly? Or not?
that's why, if I'll have to go out to your personal, I mean, your account versus why I connected with you on the phone too. But what do you need me to chat you?
I just need to see if we have the capability for those who are attending remotely to chat individual people, meaning myself and not everyone in the chat.
It should come through as Q&A. Q&A should be, let me see, because it's like when Tammy does, a meeting for Dr. Weaver, you know, the Q&A and the Dr. Weaver monthly
Yeah.
meetings. You don't see the other person's questions. You shouldn't.
But see,
Okay, well,
I'm in the room on the big screen, so everyone's gonna be able to see.
We'll just close our eyes. Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, when are you going to take a vote? I mean,
Right at the beginning, after we approve the minutes.
and they raise their hands?
No. Those in the conference room have a little ballot that they will sign.
Oh,
And then those online have the capability to provide their vote via the chat room.
so
I'm
it's
just
voting
trying
for
to
like
make
a person or an option versus,
Yes, it's voting for the chair. Which I don't foresee having any issues, but
yeah, because again, I'm a co-organizer, so my chat or my Q&A says start a discussion or ask a question. So I would assume that start a discussion is kind of for everybody. Versus if the participants have ask a question, they could ask a question and give you your vote.
Brian, they can send you an email that only you would see.
yeah.
There you go.
And
There's
that'll-
another option.
Okay.
Oh, hush.
Let me see if you see this. You're a co-organizer, Lisa?
Yes.
Do you see anything in your Q&A?
No.
You see anything in your Q&A?
Oh, it came up. It was, I shut out and came back in. Welcome all. We will begin the meeting at 5 p.m. Thanks. I could ask a question. I just don't know what my permissions is going to come through because Teams is not happy about that.
So this is so confusing.
Are these new chairs?
I think they are. I think they're not. I thought the old ones had arm rails.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about, Lisa, is who can see what I post in the Q&A? Can everyone see it or just the board members that have?
That's, I mean, if I can ask a question, but you're going to see it because you're co-organizer, and I don't know if that's because we're the only two logged in. That was the testing that we didn't get a good feel for. And the next person that joins that's online, we could just have them ask a Q&A question and see who sees it.
Yeah. Okay.
Short answer is I don't think I'm a good one to test that because I'm a co-organizer.
Right. All right.
Hush.
So was that the room camera up there in the corner?
I believe it's right ahead of us where this
Oh,
looks like
okay, yeah, I
it's
see.
still in the middle of it. Yeah.
Hello. How are y'all? Good. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Living the dream. Boil her up. That's a good thing.
The long football season.
Oh, my gosh. Incredible. Problem is, it's been a long football decade.
They're
So
kind of playing better though.
they're better. Their margin for error is just nothing. So, yeah, and of course, being a Purdue fan is especially galling that, at the same time Purdue's falling off a cliff, IU is just like amazing. I mean, I guess I'd say I'm jealous. To me, it's amazing how you can turn around a program that's been kind of mediocre forever.
The guy, Spagnetti must be a great coach.
He must be. I mean, because even, think about last year, they added a bunch of players there, mostly from James Madison. So, like, how good player are these guys?
Well, he's done a great job.
He's done a hell of a job. Good afternoon. Fibers, how are you? Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're here in your home, right? Yeah. Or it feels like home.
Expanding home.
Yeah, gosh, it's incredible. I don't get downtown anymore.
The center is right here.
Yeah, this is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, so that we're moving into the 3 research floors. We'll be moving into that space in November.
Oh, wow. So,
Wow.
That's.
So will this still stay there as part of the science?
Yeah, we'll be expanding it.
okay.
Okay.
So is that more clinical services there or what's?
No, the medical school is on the first 3 floors.
Oh, that's right. What am I thinking? Okay, yeah.
Research will be in the tower.
Okay.
Connected?
Yeah, underground.
Nice.
And they're building you can see that they're building a tunnel from this building over to the hospital right now. That's being done.
Can't wait for the twins.
Very sweet.
Yeah, someday I'll take you guys a tour if you want.
We're having another board meeting really soon.
That's right.
I think more or less over there. I think it's just furniture that's coming in now.
Okay, wow. That's pretty neat. How long is that? When did the vision for this building first come?
When the groundbreaking was, it was said like 4 years ago, maybe.
It's almost as long as the fix of I-69 and 465.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, actually. That's for as long as I've been here.
It's incredible. I just read the good news. They're going to redo the 31 465 interchange next.
Yeah.
So 4 years. So 4 years and probably 4 or 5 years before that, when it was kind of like,
Well, it was like the route down to Bloomington, right? That was under construction.
yeah.
But it's beautiful now.
It's incredible to go down. I don't go down that way all that often, but when I do, it's
really
it's beautiful. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
Of course, it was never easy before.
Although now with all the football fans, you probably can get back and forth.
You probably can. Well, though that was always a problem because the traffic was so heavy.
I can imagine now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's worse.
Yeah. They're probably have people starting to want to enlarge the stadium.
Sure.
So I don't listen to the IU underground, but any concern about Signetti going to Penn State?
Oh, yeah. I think for sure. I think they're trying to figure out whether they offer him something that's better, entice him to stay. Because I think Penn State is like the dream job. Right?
I mean, he's from Indiana, Pennsylvania, right? At least coached there, father coached there. So, yeah.
I can't believe they fired Frank like that.
Yeah. It's hard to feel too sorry for him. $45 million package.
It's a tough world. Well, they were saying, I was reading that they should change the way the salaries, but it should be incentive based.
They're going to have to.
I agree.
Now they have to pay, they're paying the players like $20.5 million.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an article in the Athletic New York Times sports section or newspaper, and they were just talking about this. Colleges are constantly, crying poverty, going to, like so the Big Ten, they're going to do this supposedly $2 billion private equity deal, but yet they're signing contracts with $45 million outs, and I don't know what Signetti's, because Allen was like 10 or 12, as I recall.
Yeah.
He got out of his contract, so
It's gonna be a lot, yeah.
yeah. Crazy world.
And I think in all of those schools, right? I think that.
Oh, they're all that. I'm sure if you went to Ohio State or Miami or,
Yeah, and the head coaches make more than anybody else at the entire university.
oh yeah, probably the highest paid. Oh, I'm sure that gotta be the highest paid state employees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brian, don't forget to read your opening statement.
Yeah, I have it for Dr. Foyer when he gets here. I was gonna have
Okay.
him read it before he jumps into roll call.
Okay, great, thanks.
So we get any NIL compensation for this?
Yeah.
Name that's like this. It's all here.
Need an agent first.
Good point. Good point.
Ross, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Perfect.
You know you're muted, right?
Yep.
Are you guys starting the meeting?
Hi, sorry,
Oh.
Lisa, we're having some internal discussions since we don't.
Okay,
have
I saw a
quorum.
hand go up and I was like, wait, we're still
Yeah.
muted, so just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
We're discussing on how to proceed, knowing that there are a few things to vote on right out of the gate, but determining if there are some items that we can go ahead and open the meeting and begin discussion on.
I think the last one doesn't require mine.
Yeah.
All those little synopses I wrote.
Yeah. And I would almost say that the potential revisions to the ABT are a recommendation of the board that would be taken back to an extent IDOH, but I think for purposes of revising the actual application process, I don't know if that would require an official vote of all board members.
Just a discussion though. I think
Right.
just there's some things that we do need.
Part of the committee.
That maybe it's.
Yeah, is Mike Freeman not joining?
Thought he was.
I thought so too. I thought he said when he responded to my email earlier in the week about the notes that, yeah, sound like he'd be here.
I know Thursdays are usually good for him, but if he says with advance notice, generally he's able to do something, so. Right.
Next meeting?
So how about we go ahead and officially start,
Yeah.
Dr. Foyer? We can jump through items 3, 4, 5 in hopes that to Julie's point, we kind of want Dr. Mehta to be a part of, I think, number 3. 4 and 5, I think we can likely move forward with discussion based on who's here. And if we get to a point where we're through those and we still don't have a quorum, then we will have to make a decision on
Did this happen last time too? Is it better to start your meetings next time at 5:30?
We're here.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people responded that and accepted that they would be here at 5, right? So it's kind of hard to say.
You're right.
And I think we put this meeting on the books based on a poll,
Right.
if I recall correctly.
We're making executive.
So if you want Dr. Boyer, we can go ahead and
You
you
should
can jump with the,
We'll read
tell Lisa, do you need to start reading?
read this here.
so it automatically already started at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And we'll just strip what is official part of the meeting.
Since Lisa asked you previously, can you tell her your official starting?
She can hear us.
Oh,
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and start with that. And then,
And please be advised that this is a public meeting in accordance with the open door law that is being live streamed to the public and recorded. Recording will be archived and available to the public for no less than 90 days. By attending and participating in this meeting, you acknowledge and consent to the live streaming and recording of the meeting, including your image, voice, and any contributions you make. Skip down to, that quorum yet, just skip down to item 4, where I put together a, synopsis on all the projects that have been going on for several years, going back to 2019. There are a number there that what we did before we're no longer doing. We're getting progress reports 3 years after the completion of their projects. So that's why there's a pretty high number. I think it's just looking at that. On things, some of it, certainly the basic research. There's no way we can do any of that research on living human beings, regardless of injuries or anything. And so it's very tough. to try and accomplish something. I think the gist of a lot of the stuff is regeneration. Zebrafish is the mainstay in research. Regenerate photo cells. If you look through a number of these papers, a lot of them have to do with the visual cortex and the vision, which interestingly, we've been attempting now for over a decade, both at the NFL and in the IndyCar Racing League, to try and use some visual testing. And so vision and the visual cortex, a big part of everything that we see and do. We have yet to come to a conclusion as to whether it's going to help us. That's how difficult it is. And that's something that seems so simple in a human being, but at the same time, we're not getting exactly what we want to see. In other words, whether someone has sustained a mild traumatic brain injury or concussion. A lot of the research is also related to pain. Pain is a major problem with spinal cord injuries. It's a deafferentation where you have an injury to the spinal cord and the brain is getting signals and doesn't know what to do with them. It's some of those are pain and very difficult to treat. It's been a problem for decades. The one I found interesting, but that's been going on a long time, is the breathing the hypoxia. That's been a big deal in Olympic athletes and all athletes that require endurance and a heart that's working optimally. That's where you take a bunch of short breaths. It's a very specific regimen that's followed. Not harmful, obviously. It improves things. That's been proven, certainly with athletes, but also with brain and with spinal cord injured patients who are obviously severely debilitated because of their injuries. So that's, but little things change. Little things continue to change over the many years that I've been dealing with spinal cord injury, which goes back to 1967, operating on spinal cord injuries. And all these, just pick up things little by little, but nothing striking, unfortunately. I think I keep hearing we are getting very close to a biomarker for concussions. Everybody, we tend to think of sports too much, but concussions occur in all walks of life. And I know for a fact that for years we didn't pay much attention to them, but certainly as neurosurgeons, neurologists, we were treating them. We'd send them back to work too soon because we just thought they looked pretty good, and that was good enough. And I can remember patients who lost their jobs. I didn't think much about it. Figured they must have done something wrong. And they were, because they didn't realize what they were doing wrong, or had some minor things that were an issue with the type of work they were doing. So these are things we've learned. Everybody thinks again that concussions were simplistic, no big deal, but then when we're dealing with bad brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, a different story. Mainly, one of the big factors, the blood-brain barrier. So many drugs that can be used and so on and so forth can't be used because they don't penetrate that, the blood-brain barrier, so it can't even get through their receptors. So this is where all the basic research is all about. Doing it in the lower animal kingdom and zebrafish, and it remains exciting because it's hard work and a lot goes into this. I look at some of these RFAs, I look at them and they don't, have we done this before? Well, Yes, some of them have been done, but we have different techniques to use. Hopefully there'll be some big breakthroughs, which there haven't been, but it'll happen. So how much, don't know right now, but we get closer all the time. But it's very difficult. It's a very difficult field, and we've known that for decades. But I know from our national neurosurgery meetings, there's a gentleman up in neurosurgeon in Canada, and he always wants to throw up some exciting new stuff, and then you look at it. And doesn't amount to much, but the slides are great, but animated. But we continue to get a little bit closer on things in regards to spinal cord injuries, brain injuries, but also better understanding them. And we'll be talking about later. Be talking about ABTs. You know, it's a new domain we're dealing with, and an important one. Because as you know, we've always done physical therapy for years, but then what? And that's where ABT somewhat simply says, wait a minute, we're making them feel stronger, but what can they do with that? And that's the big thing with ABT. So I think that's all I have to say about all the things I went through that I've been going through for a number of years, and just wanted to see. It's a real effort. Every one of these people, every one of these scientists, have work and doing a long job. Period. Nationally, everywhere, including here.
Thanks. That's really good. It's great to know that there's so much good stuff going on. I guess my question, Brian, for you is, so who's the audience? Who are we trying to influence? I mean, we're in a regime right now that's all about budget cutting. And I assume they're looking for every nickel and dime they can cut.
Yeah.
So what do you, I mean, first off, so you've got basically, I don't know if there are any doctors in the legislature now, so maybe that's the audience is, but what are they going to respond to?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I was looking back through the statute and trying to ensure that we have a good perspective on what's even being asked, right, of the board and the fund. And thinking through from a research perspective, I mean, all it says is that the board is meant to review research applications and award research applications as it relates to brain injury and spinal cord. And that just has me thinking, okay, so we're meeting that metric, right? Like that's if that's all we've been given, like that's pretty low threshold, I would say. And I think it's up to this board to determine, well, define what is success through the eyes and through the lens of research. If we need it to be more than just ensuring that we're meeting the responsibilities of the statute. So that's number one, I would say. Do we need to set better parameters around the definition of success when we make determinations of awarding research-based grants in the current RFA process? Number two, to your question directly, I would say that I don't know if there's going to be a point from the legislature where they're going to want to see what outcomes are from this funding. I would say we are in a position now where a lot of those questions are being asked. And so to be able to define what we think success should be based on what the statute outlines, I think is up to the board members and then certainly the partners that we work with through the RFA process when those are reviewed, assessed, evaluated, and ultimately put in a tiered system of, yeah, we would say this is a strong application that has potential benefits. I think defining what that benefit ultimately is down the road, understanding that research is hard and it takes time and there aren't always necessarily breakthroughs, but that's why we have research, right? To hopefully get to a point of a breakthrough.
There are other ways though, to, I think, intermediately sort of determine, I think, whether that's successful, like with a program like this, really giving pilot grants, right? To really start something. So follow on funding, right? I mean, okay, you took that, you went as far as you could go with the limited funds that you had, but what did that turn into? Another grant that's much larger and all of that. I don't know if the CT side gathers all of that, but
You don't anymore because in talking to IDOH, because there is no financial commitment in the contract once it ends, that we can't legally bind anybody to requiring those 5-year progress reports down the road.
That's why I raised the question last meeting, because I wasn't sure. Everybody's struggling with how do we show value? How do we create so that we created an impact? What is an impact? What's a success story?
Yeah.
And since you don't have those progress reports anymore post closure of the project, you don't have your return on investment, which would be a natural thing to be able to say, look what your money generated.
Yeah.
You don't have that, oh, I did this. So then you're left with people, as our organization is doing, going through and saying, okay, who did we fund and where are they in the news and where are they in NKH Reporter and where are they? And that's a fairly tedious process.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know what we should do about that, but I wanted to bring that forward.
And so you're not then even allowed to ask people or?
Oh, I think we can surely ask people, but there's no requirement for those individuals to share anything with us.
I think if they're funded, I think most individuals will at least be willing to sort of say.
Well, yeah, you would think, because part of it's the argument, if we can't convince the governor or the legislature they're producing value, this is gone. Or, it gets nicked, then it seems like it's in their best interest to report.
Yeah,
Back. It's not complicated stuff.
That and, things like, they've been involved in launching a small business or doing something. Yeah. And all of those are things that I think are tangible.
Yeah.
Outcomes that you can point to.
Right.
And we have that these are NIH reviewed. A lot of did very good work competing against the whole country. Or for the fund, and we're getting it.
Yeah.
And that's extremely important.
So one of the reasons why you were so successful in being able to collect the progress report, the data, the ROI and so forth, is 2 people ago, we were able to add to the contracts, you must do these progress reports. And so your rate of return went from about 35 to 40 to 100%.
Right.
So we can certainly send those out, but
Yeah, not gonna get everybody, for sure.
No.
don't get them.
Oh, can we, even if there's no financials, can we, and nothing we can do if they don't comply, but can we put in your condition of accepting an award is that you will, for a period of 5 years, whatever,
That's
submit
what
progress
they-
reports?
That's what they took out.
So because there's no longer a contract after
Right.
the 2 years, that's kind of.
Well, I know.
I'm not saying you can't put it in the language initially. I'm also thinking, I'm wondering if it's as simple as having a letter from the board that is sent out to them annually post award, just saying, we would greatly appreciate any type of follow-up or report that you would be willing to provide, and have like a list of items that we kind of
The reality, they're gonna be,
redefine for them.
my experience with academic research, they're gonna be very happy to report success. I've got 2 publications out of this. I got another grant. I got a company started, whatever. I think generally they're gonna be proud of their successes. The ones that are not gonna respond are probably the ones who nothing good happened.
Yeah, and they may want to come back, right?
Right, exactly.
People like a repeat.
Exactly. It's surprising where you're saying, we can't require it, but we can imply that we expect it.
So I like your idea of the letter, Ryan. What I would recommend that you do kind of is a hybrid, not just here are the things we need, but please fill out this online survey so at least you can still
Love
use our progress report process, and that automatically collects the data, can calculate your ROI and so forth. That's
Done.
Yeah, the little project where they put the spinal cord stimulated, so the thing was 60 or 90. It's amazing.
Yeah, oh, great.
And getting data from it.
Right.
Good data.
So let's look at the previous progress reports, see what specific questions or information was captured from that. And let you and I come together on a
one I just sent you,
survey option.
the current survey.
Yeah.
Send it to you.
Cool.
Should take lunch.
And then that's the type of information that continued to be shared here, obviously. Right.
So
Yeah, you want to think, it goes back to how we got funding to start with. And I talked to a state legislature before the bill was, before we got the funding. It's a simple story. A bunch of, I think several of you heard this. I was the head of the subcommittee that was going over the funding. And I asked them, how many people, how many Hoosiers do you think have been killed in the last 6 years? The New York Times every day has how many of our soldiers have been killed after 9/11. And the number was the same. Motor vehicle accidents in this state, the number at that time in 2006-07 was 6,000. They said, really, is Indiana that bad? I said, yes, we are. I said, we're trying to do research, but that was a conclusion. We need to do research. We need to find out why we're doing, I would say, worse than our soldiers. It hit home. We have to hit home with this.
Were you gonna say something?
I thought the problem by us just doing
Okay.
it.
But I think it's really important just to show some value, because again, I think especially in the current climate, where I think there's a lot of questioning of science and medicine, we don't want to be on the other side.
Yeah.
We can't say anything.
Yeah. Well, I agree, especially the really early stage, the zebrafish, people doing really early animal models, and yet we've got a lot of examples that 20 years later it resulted in a drug or a diagnostic or whatever. And we're never, we're too early in the game for that, but I think that's part of the challenge, Brian, for you, is to convince people that these markers, publications, starting a company, that was maybe easier for the legislative follow on funding. That is the way you measure success.
There's one that we have trying to drug that hormone didn't work, and then they try something. This one works.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Research fund,
Yeah.
So one of the things that we currently did was at the close of the project is to send a closeout survey and say, how did you move the needle? How did this impact your field? How did this impact your career?
Yep.
And I wonder if you could ask them to do that in a lay summary form so that you've got something that maybe is publishable to non-technical audiences. And you can, because even incremental movements with the needle.
Yeah.
You start with.
So in your opinions, what would be the frequency of this ongoing survey, right? Because it sounds like we want to ask more than just right at the exit, right? Is it 6 months post? Is it a year post? Is it the annual? Like, when do we stop asking for those successes, I guess?
So NIH, at least previously, you use your data up into about, well, Dr. Landers very do, up to about 7 years. So we drew a line and said, just give us 5. Your first is your closeout report, and then we'll ask you for 4 years thereafter. And by then you're using this next generation of your data, not the original.
I think that's feasible. Okay. Especially with most big grants being 5 years. So that makes sense.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Can't remember that.
Who's gonna do this one?
Dr. Pratt is traveling.
Okay.
Waiting for Dr. Pratt.
Okay.
I didn't hear any.
Anything else on item 4? So I'll jump to my updates then with there's actually 2 legals because we just got one back on the ABT that not all of you been made aware of, but first and foremost, as it relates to updating statutory language, those are again a process that goes through our it's the legislative affairs department directly from an agency perspective, based on any type of revision that's being recommended or proposed from whether it be the board, a legislator, enough of an advocacy kind of push from across the state. So if there are immediate recommendations to updating anything as it relates to the statute, which I know this ties in a little bit to, I think, item 3, those recommendations can be pushed forward.
I'm confused. There's a statute that was passed by the legislature and signed by the governor. We can't change that, right?
It's a very hard process, but statutory language can be updated through the legislative process.
That's right, but we can't say what a silly thing in this statute, so we're going to change it or we're going to ignore it.
Well, we can't, but we can make those recommendations to the legislature to change that language.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We could be the advocacy group.
Right. And we can make those recommendations as a government agency and also find other legislatures to take that on for us. So,
Okay.
and through our partnerships with other associations and institutions, there's plenty of ways to navigate the space. But I'm saying from the board's perspective, if there are recommendations based on your continued review of policy, which this would be, those recommendations can be voiced in this setting, pushed to IDOH. So that's number 1. And then second on we had Julie, I think you brought it forward from an ABT perspective.
Yes.
Applicant. There was an institution, it was the University of Evansville, that was inquiring about applying for the ABT RFA. They are not technically a healthcare clinic, but they have a partnership that they'd like to propose for the next round of ABT funding. So we reached out to legal to see if, based on their proposal, that they would be able to apply under the current statutory language and the definition of a clinic. And they were, based on our review, IDOH's review, they would be applicable or be eligible, I should say, to apply. Without getting into too much detail, I think that partnership included not only some PTs from the local healthcare system down there, but also a partnership with the local sports facility to provide those services. So kind of a neat model, in all honesty, that would fit under the current definition. So those were the 2 legal updates. And then the last update for conference, and I'd really like Dr. Mehta to be here because from IDOH's perspective, we're pretty limited with regards to our services to put on conferences. That doesn't mean we can't use the fund to help support, but we would need, I think, other entities to help with the ongoing kind of planning and things of that nature is really the primary conference update. And I recall last meeting, I know BIAI was kind of moving forward. It sounded like with some planning. I don't know where that is though, necessarily.
Remind me where we are from the ability to issue RFAs again. Is that like a year from now?
Yeah, so we're on a 2-year cycle. So we just approved the current fiscal year 26-27 budgets in our March meeting.
Right.
Those have all been executed accordingly, and we will start that process up again next April.
ABT typically opens July, so it would be July 2026, and the other one typically opens in September of the same year.
So we're about 8 to 12 months away.
Okay, all right.
For the next round.
Good.
You couldn't. Usually your review team for the ABT meets in December, so and if you wanted to, if you needed to move, shorten or lengthen the runway and not open in July, that would still work. Buddy, sorry.
I missed that. No, excuse me.
Usually your ABT review team meets in December. So if you needed to not open the ABT in July, you're still prepping, you're developing your new rubric and so forth. So you could open it a little bit later and still make that review.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time to put a rubric in place by July, I would think. So probably more importantly for it to get out, starting to talk to more people who either aren't aware or never thought they were eligible to apply for one of these grants.
The conference, I guess the other thing could partner with one of the universities, I suppose. It would be another option, other than obviously, and I don't know what restrictions there are from the state level to do that. But that, and then that will allow you to, like IU at least as a whole, you can apply for funding for a conference if you're, I think there's certain stipulation you have to invite in somebody from outside of the state. You have to, that's a whole series of things that you have to sort of apply for, but you can't do it. I think that you would need an IU faculty member who would be the one who would be, doing that application process.
Yeah, I think we, really the next step is to, I think, reconvene with, are you guys familiar with Wendy Waldman? Are you, that name ring a bell? No. Okay, so she and BIA. Yeah. So she works closely with Dr. Mehta. She also works closely with us at IDOH through a separate federal award where they do neuro resource facilitation through the IU School of Medicine. And so we have that partnership, but she's very active in a lot of that planning space for the conference. So between her and Dr. Mehta, I think it's just a reconvening to see what our options might be to put a little bit more of a formal planning committee together, probably.
Okay.
And then go from there.
Yeah, and I have an administrative person and it's kind of a, meeting planner.
Okay.
I'd be willing to sort of give a little bit of her time.
Great.
Didn't she just get an award?
But then
Didn't she just get?
she did. Yeah, she's very good. She's very, very good.
Have we gone for sponsorships for this conference in the past, gone to pharma or whatever? People who are selling drugs or diagnostics in this field, we'll go to them and get, a $25,000 award or something like that. To pay for a planner or all the things going along with this. So
You always do know that's partiality.
We wouldn't be able to. But there have been, say, previous examples of partnerships that we've had with external institutions that lead those efforts. And we have sponsors that are exhibitors, obviously, that attend, but also sponsors that put forth, I don't say gifts, but, raffles and things of that nature that attendees can quote unquote receive items if their name is selected or their ticket is selected. So it's not unheard of.
just think if money's an issue.
I think we had more flexibility previously when we had our own kind of event planner within state government. It's just, I think a lot of that is,
Well, even for us, we've had to cut way back on the hospitality with the latest budget cuts. So we're doing a lot less than we did before.
How bad would it be to do a virtual conference?
I mean, I think there's plenty of examples of that across the country. Certainly via, when we were living through COVID era there. And so I think it's just a matter of through the planning committee, if there's enough of a benefit and value add by doing it all virtual. I don't see why it couldn't happen. I feel like BIA just did something couple of months ago that was like a half-day virtual conference.
We had one that we did an ALS conference last Friday. It's totally virtual.
Yeah, a full day.
That was full day. We got about 80 people.
Did you just have primary presenters, or were you able to do like breakout rooms?
They did breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the breakout rooms is less well attended probably than, you know, the main speaker.
It's just one of those things. I think we've all seen that. We know how value added in-person opportunities are.
It's very different.
Just to be with people.
So we had some posters, but and they were in the breakout rooms, but I think the interactions are not.
Yep. And when you introduce a hybrid option,
Oh.
it allows for attendees who, you know, want to come in person, but
Yeah.
those that maybe don't want to come in person, and we have a quorum.
Oh, wow.
So I think the moral here is that there are definitely ways to navigate a conference in current state, whether that's in person or virtual. Hello, Dr. Mehta. Oh, I think hold on. I think I got to give you, apologies. I got to give you access to speak. All right, Dr. Mehta, you should be able to come off mute now. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. I was wondering what was going on. I was like, I've never seen that
Yeah.
before. So.
Apologies. We have a new platform that we were required to use, and it's Teams webinar, and this is the first go with this group.
Great, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining, and I think you can officially, Dr. Foyer, take roll call now on the meeting. And then we can jump into a few of our voting requirements or voting. So I gave you a list of them. Basically, introduce yourself first as an attendee, and then just go down the line.
Say all these names.
Yep.
Just go ahead and put them.
So you're obviously present, so you could just say your presence.
Having a roll call.
Yeah.
That's like a, Sarah Hudson. Whitney, I know it's not gonna be here. Ross Nelson,
Here.
Michael Freeman. Time up, I got a message. Cheryl Charles. And Sas just chimed in, okay?
Yep, here.
Do we need to, those of us here need to verbally?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
sorry, you do.
what are your names are in here? Bruce Lamb.
Yeah, here.
Okay. Wade Lang.
Here.
And Howard's the last name.
Here and under protest.
That's required for posterity, or these 90 days.
Minutes forward from March meeting.
Okay, I move that, or do I have a motion to approve the events from earlier this year?
So move.
In favor?
So you have to do roll call again for that. So you have to do that list again.
Wow.
Okay. Wade Lang,
Yes.
Ross Nelson. I'm just doing roll call on that
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Howard?
Yes.
Soto, okay. And Sasha Mehta, yeah,
Yes.
And you need to vote.
I think 4 yes.
Is that all six? I believe it was, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So by a vote of 6 to 11, because we have 5 non-attending, that did pass. You do not. So, yeah, jump into item 3. All of you in the room have a ballot. We had one nominee from the March board meeting. It was for Dr. Foyer to remain as the chair of the board. So for those of you in the room, if you would be so kind as to vote on your ballots, I can come around and collect them from you. Dr. Mehta and Ross, what I'm going to have you do is just email me. Do you have access to email right now by chance?
I
Yeah.
do, yes.
Okay. Can you email me? I'll put, can you see the Q&A there in the Teams webinar? Or do you not have access to that?
I'm not
No,
seeing that
Okay.
I think it under like the 3 dots. are
on the
things.
3 dot. Oh, Q&A,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Thanks.
it's-
So I'm gonna put my email in. If you guys could email me your votes of whether it's a yes or a no for the chair nominee, Dr. Foyer, and then we can officially take action depending on those votes.
Okay.
So I'll get these from you guys. Oh, sorry. There you go.
Touch this one.
Dr. Foyer, you can vote on your ballot there.
So weird.
Just a second here.
Make sure no one files a Supreme Court brief.
Apologize, I just bought these expensive hearing aids because I missed stuff and forgot them babysitting right now as soon as I leave. I didn't want to put them on because of that duty. And they have a dog that eats everything, so anyway.
Yeah, hearing aids are an expensive thing to have, doggy.
Yeah. Dr. Mehta, I have received yours. Ross, I don't know if you've sent one yet, and it's just in space.
For future, can you?
Yeah,
actually do the
sorry,
chat
it's-
function?
I think it's coming through my work email, so.
We have them vote in chat
I
function.
was chattering.
So I can, what I haven't figured out here is it needs to be sent individually, like through mine, so it's not broadcast in front of everybody necessarily is what I'm trying to.
We should, you can do that in Teams.
Yeah.
You can, there's a way to send a message just to one person.
Yeah. So because of this new platform, we haven't had a chance to.
Yeah. Well, but you're also relying on people outside doing it the right way. And that's where you're down your problem.
What I am going to suggest is while that comes through, we will revisit the conclusion of the official voting process, and I'll make that announcement before we leave today. But I think we'll move forward with item number 3, if you're okay with it, Dr.
Yes, yes. Okay, you've done a great job on what you put together and
Well, hopefully we get it around to make it better. So, and Dr. Mehta, please chime in, to go through this. So as I recall, the charge we were given was to simplify the, application process in a way that didn't discourage organizations who didn't have, big research function, whatever, to write grants and things like that. So we want to make it simpler and given also the
The intent of these grants are less, they're not research, they're really to support operations, and we were especially interested in new services, trying to design something that would reflect that. So simpler, so we did not work on kind of wider broadcasts. That's what we work on next, I guess. So anyway, so what's written here is really the process or our thinking here, I guess, reflected here. So, program goal, we're trying to expand provision of high quality, affordable cost, whatever, how it's worded, ABT services here in the state. It was our, I guess, thinking that really think of this as like seed capital. We're not providing sustaining grants to people, but enough to help someone get a new service started up and running. So, and this relates partly to Brian's comment earlier about the organizations are eligible, nonprofits, not necessarily 501c3 though. I forget how it's worded in some of the things you said around Brian. It's basically someone's not eligible, doesn't pay any income tax or something like that for
Yeah, I don't have the 3 right in front of me. I apologize. I can pull them up if we need clarification.
Well,
that though.
okay. So if people are providing services to patients in Indiana, and then specifically organizations planning to offer a new activity-based therapy for point of discussion, just to set up, they're getting something they intend to do within the next 6 months. The patients suffering from spinal cord or traumatic brain injuries. So, just as we're going through this, thoughts on new, this is not to go to RHI to have them just instead of treating 20 patients, we're treating 30 patients. Just really focus on people who are going to do new things. So the question is that makes sense to everybody. And then this arbitrary within 6 months, is that too short a period of time? I think just, thinking the planning cycle for any organization, is that a little too tight of a window? Any thoughts?
So legally, I think you have to award 150,000.
Do we have to do it per grant or per?
So it's each ABT award has to be 10 to 15% of the overall fund.
Okay.
And that does come out to be around that 100 to like 125 threshold, I believe, without having the numbers right in front of me. But that can be awarded through multiple grants. It doesn't have to just be.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, we could do 5 organizations and it's 20,000 correct, or what,
Yes, yes, yes.
30,000 each to get into that.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. My response was because he said within 6 months, and you have to award that within a 12-month timeframe, right?
Right. So it's better to do to like 12 within 12 months. You suggest? I'm totally fine with that. I have no.
No, my problem in my head was I was trying to do the math. So what if you only get 3 and you need to award this and you're saying.
Okay. So I'm sorry, the 6 months, I was saying how quickly they plan to start something. So separate question on the amount of money.
If you're going to allow them to not start up for 6 months.
Well, one thing we could do is we could say they're up to $150,000, whatever the number is, and we give it to the discretion of the board. We come back and say there's 3 really great orders or proposals there, then it's 50 apiece. And we could just say, I'm thinking business plan competitions, you're competing for up to $25,000 in award money. You can go to 1, you can go to 2. So we could do the same thing here. We could do that. Is that, so forgive me for not recalling the statute, the rules. Is that 125,000? Is that each for for spinal cord and for, we have to. And what happens, remind me again, I remember we had this conversation last meeting, if there's nobody who qualifies.
That's exactly.
That's what
I think that's a question of legal that I have not asked, but
Okay.
that is a fair question. If we don't get any applications, we can't.
or we get one, but they're just like,
We get some there, but the.
that's the worst situation. You get some of the.
I mean, I think from a, being mindful of what we're funding and what the board is approving to fund. If it is not deemed of merit, right, the application that's submitted, it is in the best interest of the board and the state to not fund something that is not
Right.
viewed as.
Especially now that they've taken funding away in part.
Yeah,
But you're not sure if we actually can do that, is what you're saying?
I'm gonna check with legal. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, I'll double check that.
And say,
So to just clarify, so I'm just trying how we do this, word this award. So we would put up to $125,000. It's not per award, it's up to $125,000 per
The
site.
amount of funding, we would say the amount of funding available is $150,000, whatever the number is. And I think the number is a little higher, actually. It's closer to 170,000 between spinal cord, 170,000, brain injury, 170,000.
Okay. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, so I'll make that change and do you want to send it to you, or do you want to make changes to the,
No.
because you've got this, okay. all right.
I could do that as well if you'd like. Either one.
It might be easier if you do it,
Okay,
just because you know the, you know the ins and outs of the process and,
so your new wording will allow you to then help people, yes, if you're gonna go up to, if you're gonna start in 6 months, you're still eligible because you wouldn't expect somebody who's gearing up in 6 months to be able to say, yes, I want an award of 170,000. Maybe they're starting out with something smaller, but they could still then be included. Does that make sense? So now you've got a pot of money. A lot of people are competing. You can adjust the funding according to need or the budget that they submit, and people who only need some startup money might be still eligible. They're not paying for that 170 that RHI might do.
I think Dr. Meadow, were you trying to chime in?
Oh, thank you.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Alright.
I was just,
yeah.
not anything else to add this time, but no, I just, I did have a question about the 6 months. Is there a reason we want to limit to 6 months? Just-
I mean, I'm the one who put it in there, but to me, it seems a little tight. Just think the planning cycle people go through that. Quickly ramp all these up. I mean, I don't want to rule out somebody who's gonna take 8 months or 9 months to plan something.
Are these 1 year awards or 2 year awards?
It'd be 2 year.
Yeah, I would want to make sure that, and I don't know how we would go about doing this, but if it's in the understanding we want to promote startups, right?
Right.
And new services. I'm just trying to be mindful of not getting down a path of creating a contract with a group that ultimately doesn't end up starting up. And maybe that's not fair, but I'm just thinking again through the lens of how are we showing that this money is being spent in a good way? I get a little worried if we're not actually doing anything yet, meaning because we're trying to start up. I would want to see that as
Right.
quickly as possible, just know that the funds are being used the way that we intend them to be
Well, I
used.
think we could we do this, is it fit within a lot, is to do kind of like milestone based. Okay, $50,000 we're gonna give to group X and they get $25,000 at the start to get things going, but they don't get the second $25,000 until they have opened up it. And there may be intermediate
Contingent on.
they hire the PTs or whatever, but make it more milestone based.
This money is not enough to make a group go through all those hoops for what still is gonna be a small amount of money. We'll have some failures and we'll have some successes, but we don't want to make it so onerous that it costs them more money than we're giving them to comply with things.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to have confidence thinking about investing in private companies. You've got to have, first off, it's not unusual to have milestones. that, people, I'm not sure if it makes that complicated, if that's complicated. And actually, to a small organization, $50,000 to grab up money. I mean, this would be meaningful to a small clinic, I think, a small business. But anyway, it's, you know, doing milestones isn't unusual. If you agree on what the three things milestones you're gonna do, or two or one or something like that. But if it's, at least that'd be my way of thinking, is that to have milestones would not be onerous. I mean, not 20, but one or two. That puts more onus on us to manage them, which is probably a downside.
So they would need this money before they were open, because we were thinking that equipment, it would be.
Yeah, but thinking equipment and hiring people and, you know, you're opening up a restaurant, you spend a lot of money before you serve your first meal, right?
So wouldn't you be able to get at least a good sense from their LOI and their presentation on their business plan?
Sure. I mean, that's all it is, know what their business plan, which is why I'm saying if you could set a couple milestones, again, it wouldn't be unusual in a business setting to have milestones for funding. But I also don't want to make a ton of work for like Foyer.
This is different,
We've done that. We do that for some of our other awards.
Yeah.
We did something called, when I was in tobacco prevention and cessation, we funded local counties to do tobacco control. And I kind of view this as what we termed as capacity building grants, where we would not award the full kind of requirements or milestones as it relates to best practice implementation of tobacco prevention at the local level, but it was truly intended to try to start standing. I get this a little different in the form of delivering direct services, but I think from a state government perspective, we've done those types of RFAs and approaches. So
You can be using your new progress reporting system for these. That's what it requires that.
yeah, all right, Julie.
It makes
It's a great question.
progress report.
All sorts of
where you
things.
Get your next set amount of funding. That's a really cool system.
It is a very cool system. It's a big system to learn. It's a big change in the way we've done things. So it is not fully implemented, but I think we are working towards that.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure where we're at in the process, to be
Okay.
honest. Yeah. We have a whole new grants system across state government that's being rolled out. And, it's quite the overhaul. So.
Well, I guess question, what do you think about putting milestone payments in there?
Yeah, I think we just need to figure out who's gonna review that when it comes in
right, yeah.
and say, you know, yes or no.
Yeah, right. Because it'll be, we'll release the next set of tranche of funds. So do we need to decide that now? Who? We've got several months before I do this, but Meg, it probably needs to be a board or the review committee I would think the process would be the review committee would make a recommendation to the board that, yeah, these milestones have been met, and then go to Dr. Foyer's. The other ones, I guess, is the other practice we have, but
Yes, would this be a new concept for the reviewers? Or not really?
And they're not a standing committee.
You're not a standing committee.
No.
well, you know, we could have a board, I'd be happy to do it, have a board, Dr. Mehta or Mike be the, you know, a board representative on the review committee that then, you know, then takes a recommendation to the chairman, the president of the board, whatever your title is. Or we hope will be again. Okay.
So from your perspective and setting that all up, does this fit kind of their lens of as a reviewer?
It doesn't fit the current model. What I was gonna ask you is, but we could certainly ask them, would you be a standing committee? Here is your commitment. Could we change our contract and say, here's the honorarium that will be commensurate with what we're asking you to do as a full year of service every other year. And then you.
So my only question is, what, if we map out a timeline for this release, why would they need to have a full year of?
Because you're asking them to review the LOIs, you're asking them to review the presentations, and then you're thinking about asking them to review the progress reports. Did they do their milestone? And so that's all. Now you're asking, instead of, okay, I need a 2-hour window on a Friday in December to review these applications, then I'm going to ask you to do several things for a year.
Yeah.
You have to have the whole committee review
Those
those.
decision.
Yeah.
If this is the recommendation based on what the board would like to do to overhaul the ABT approach.
Or you
I think that's the flexibility that the board has to make those recommendations.
couldn't you have them do their presentations to the board?
You talking about for the original grant decisions? Okay.
You've got the expertise on there, and we could also invite the others to come and listen to the presentations if you'd like. But it makes sense to use your board.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what they're planning on doing, what it is, the new service or whatever, that we as a board will understand. In other words, the research that's done in the Neuroscience Institute is, I certainly don't have much to say about it. Most of us don't. It's just, that's what the review book, that's what the review committee is for. I mean, they can look at that and they can, but we're looking at something, we're looking at a translational thing, basically.
Yeah, well, it's really not research. At this point, it's
But,
implementations.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think,
You still need to have,
I think we as a board, I would understand it. I think most of us would. It could start with us, and if we can't do it, it's something new. I would say we could look at it, look at the letter of intent, the service, whatever, and what they're expecting to happen. And we can give it a yay or nay, and I think we could do that as a board. I think, I think we could.
well, in a way, there's an advantage to having the board do it the first time, because then we're really involved, and then it's easier to hand it off to a external review committee in year 2. Just because we've kind of immersed ourselves in it. It's the question is the board will spend that. I mean, I committed to Julie, I'd be involved with the review anyway, so I'm already on the hook for the time, but is the rest of the board willing to spend? And I have no expertise at all in ABT, so.
That's a lot of it, just
No,
really about somebody.
From that standpoint, but I think we all know enough to see whether it's heading in the right direction, I think.
It might be, the only drawback this time is tonight's weighing out. So if you have 20-minute presentation followed by 10-minute question and answer, that's a 30-minute presentation. If you get, 10, you're talking about 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time for a review committee too.
Right.
They obviously have very definite criteria, but this we something to do with them too, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's another way you could, the way I wrote this was that the invitations, basically, if they're qualified organization and they submit a proposal, they're invited to submit a proposal. And then if they submit a proposal, they're invited to come in. We could do review of the business plans. I mean, this one is not unusual at all in a business plan competition, is for people to submit their plan. And then a review committee says, okay, these are the top 3 or whatever number we choose, and only invite those 3 in, or 4, 3 in. So it's a couple hours by the time you throw in some pre and post discussion of the committee. Another way to do it. Yeah, part of we have no idea, right, of what we're going to get in terms of proposals. expect there's like demand out there, but we don't know.
Hopefully we'll get one.
Well, yes, well, we think we know one is gonna come through.
The review committee had a hard time with the ABT at the start. They didn't know what
Yeah.
to do.
Right.
So same thing will happen now. I don't think we can screen it. You have what your intent is, what the new service is and so on, shouldn't.
Well, part of what we try to, in this, it's like, we try to make this whole process simpler for people, is they don't need to have a grant writer. So,
I myself not been happy with the way we've dealt with ABT from the beginning. When, we all had misgivings about it. It hasn't, it's improved and they gave us some ideas, but I think this is consumers also,
Right.
all of us.
Yeah.
On the committee. So
Yeah.
you can look, we will be looking at it that way.
yeah. Well, I don't know how much flexibility we can build into this, because a reason for doing the LOI was just to see what we're gonna get.
Right.
And so really simple, basically, I'm XYZ clinic and I want to do this work. And that's really all that letter LOI is intended to do, make it simple. So we know, is there one coming in or 30 coming in? And then we can adjust our process based on that, assuming that we can, working within the confines of state government, can we be, that flexible? I mean, again, if we get a whole bunch of them, then we need to pre-screen. If we get 2 of them,
So based on the way this is written, the research grants clearly have a more formal, I'll say review process that makes sense from the research lens, right? It's where we've struggled, or at least the review committee, I think, has struggled, is that we tried to wedge ABT into the research
Right.
arena.
Mhm.
And that's not really what the intent of the legislation states. The legislation states award direct service provision,
Right.
for ABT. And it might make more sense to set up a process similar to what I think you're suggesting, if the review committee maybe isn't the right body to be reviewing an ABT application that's been wedged into a research-based template, more or less.
right? I think that was
Putting all
our,
those details together.
Yeah, I mean,
think
that
is
was really
on
our-
the right track.
yeah, I mean, that was our thinking, as I'm thinking back to the conversation we had last board meeting, was because it is different. It's to make it a non-research type process.
The same way
and-
it is, there is some research, so they're saying this is what we want to do, this is what's gonna happen.
Well, if someone wants to do research, they still can come in and do research. They can still do a research grant. Right? I mean, if someone has an ABT research project, okay, they do come in through our normal research process. I mean, this is really designed it's really startup funding for businesses. And rather than giving money to people who already are in business, this is to encourage.
Yeah, except I think the research one, it's reviewed by researchers, and I think I'm not sure whether the folks who are doing ABT are going to be able to successfully write a grant that's going to be able to compete.
Right, well, and I think that's it.
Other folks who are researchers.
Right,
That's
exactly.
my worry that if
Okay,
you put them into
good
that
point.
pool, if you put them into that pool, they may not be.
Okay, yeah.
Do well.
What if you did this on a rolling basis, so you do your zoning?
Is that a question?
Yes.
We're rethinking that entire process area.
Oh, darn, okay, never mind. But if you did it as a rolling process, you wouldn't have the focus on a concentrated
Right.
amount of time or
It's
more
like,
people coming in. or-
yeah, well, it's gonna be like NSF in their SBIR grants, they do a rolling process for project pitches.
Yeah,
And it's kind of similar. It's a pretty quick 4 or 5 question sort of thing to qualify you, and then you're invited to submit for a full SBIR. And then it goes through their normal process. I forget, NSF has 3 or 4 deadlines a year. And we could do something like that. Just take project pitches, take this LOI, or maybe a little more than that at all time, or with some regularity, whatever, and then do, quarterly.
Yes.
I guess I could work. I mean, it's more,
And that also gives you, you go through round one and you learned, oh, okay, here's my feedback. I didn't do so well. Now I've got another
Yeah.
chance that I can come.
so one challenge to think how we work that, given we've got a mandate to give 150, whatever the number, 100, to grant $150,000. We do on quarterly, and first couple quarters, we got nothing. And then, I mean, do we have to, what do we do in the last quarter comes along and, oh my gosh, we've got $150,000 to give away the grant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm again, not trying to be a barrier here by any means. It's just, I know from our state budget agency how much they are cracking down on spending monies within the biennium. So on a rolling, if we're proposing rolling basis, and I know we have the NCEs, which gives us that flexibility at the end of the biennium to go an extra year with the existing grants. I'm just putting caution out there. I would say if we open up a rolling process, we need to ensure to the best of our ability that what we are awarding.
Okay,
So that goes back to what I was talking about initially. It's like when we start to see money sitting out there that great, it's been encumbered, but it's not being spent down. And it may not be spent down by the end of what state budget would like it to be spent down by. It gets very hard to keep that available to us. So.
So, looking at all these projects, I looked at our RFAs and looked at them and well, they didn't come to a conclusion. But it's over. Well.
Yeah. Well, that is important. One of the things Brandon had not thought about the structure around this really is around the state's biennial budget. That, I mean, one of the constraints needs to be that the work has to be done within 2 years, or actually it'd be less than 2 years by the time we make grants in January of 27. Yeah, we've only got a year and a half to spend to do the work, right?
Yeah. So aside from the no cost extension that we can approve, right? And we historically approve every time, like nobody doesn't ask for a no cost extension.
They may have a brilliant idea and in 2 years may not have anything to show for it yet. So.
Well, that's why
Well, I
they
think
get
that's where
part
we-
evaluation. If this can't be done, if they got a project, we're gonna launch this in 2035. Well, sorry, come back in 2034.
That to me is acceptable. I mean, that's the way research is.
Well, but this isn't research. Again, this is not research. This is
Kind of, you're trying to help these injured people. And so if it makes something better, it's research has done that for you, that whatever you propose.
So I think to your point, though, we'd want to be clear on what are we asking them to report on, right? If they're standing up a service. And from the research space right now that we award these through, right? Because that's what we do. Do we have clear outcomes on what they're reporting as part of their service delivery?
And I was gonna be a really good citizen and not ask you about what the progress reports look like and say you started this.
Well, I think you have revamping it. These are all the things that need to be clearly
Yes.
a part of their proposal, right? When we talk or when we ask them about what is, define your success metrics, like what are those? Is it the number of people we served? Is it we were able to, of the 30 patients we saw, 20 of them went on to live a more normal, you get what I'm saying. There needs to be some type of outcome that is very clearly articulated. And we can determine what that is based on similar to what we just talked about on the research side, I think, of saying, here are some of those milestones or things that we know are important in research. It allowed us to go on and get more funding, or allowed us in 5 years to stand up a brand new breakthrough program, whatever it might be. I think the same should be said for the ABT side.
You also need a rubric on how you're going to grade your presentation. So
That's where I think to Dr. Foyer's point, having a review committee that's already.
You asked about, about cognitive therapy and so on. Yes. Should that be part of the process, you know, that you have at the very.
Right.
The answer is yes.
But is that available? I think and Dr. Meta and Mike's not here, but I think our interpretation was those aren't allowable right now, that we need some variance in the.
They should be.
Well, I think that was their point, is they should be, but I thought their sense was they aren't allowed under the current cognitive therapy.
That's correct.
Not eligible, right?
It's not.
It's not. Now, we could argue for that to be added, and then Brian, you're looking maybe skeptical, like maybe.
Yeah, I don't, so you're just basing it off the definition of ABT, right, Julie?
That is correct. When I asked for higher,
Okay, who'd you ask me?
I haven't we talked about the last board meeting.
Yeah, we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
So specialized interventions that activate the neuromuscular system below the level of lesion, involving intense repetitive physical activity performed with the goal of retraining the nervous system.
But it's the physical therapy, you know, it's pretty specific. It's physical therapy, not cognitive therapy.
Yeah, when they mentioned below the level, though, that's really geared towards spinal cord injury. Unfortunately, the verbiage is not really ideal for brain injury when cognitive impairments are probably even a bigger and slower recovering skill.
So I think cognitive should be to me.
So this is where, again, if we feel like we are confined based on what the board believes to be better policy, those are the recommendations that can be pushed forward to IDOH to say, hey, is there an opportunity to make this is kind of confining us when we feel like there's
Yeah, I
would
was,
be
yeah, it was in
had here.
Yeah, I was in place up in, I was Zionsville yesterday, does watch us farm, maybe they do farming, but they grow hydroponic crops, but they bring in patients who've had brain injuries or spinal cord injuries, and, you know, for them, the win is they can go back to work.
Yeah.
And not necessarily because of physical deficits, is because, you know, of cognitive deficits. So anyway, if we need to put, I mean, I think certainly Dr. Meta and Mike both felt pretty strongly that we need to add that. So I guess I would ask the board and Brian to how we appropriately push that forward. Now we'll need to know by the time we start to market this program in the spring or winter that's a decision made about that.
So why don't you take a question and we can approve it, second it, we go.
So is it maybe a question, or can we,
No, but just-
I recommend that we advocate to the Department of Health that cognitive therapy be added as a modality in ABT.
Second,
That's well said. Yeah, I think, yeah, include cognitive interventions under ABT.
If you're voting on,
any opposed?
But it's the all in favor.
you have to do roll call.
That's fair.
I know that pains you, but
Can I, well, before we take a vote, just discussion, I'm looking at this, the second question here. I think it's really kind of related. That's why I would loop them into two. And Dr. Mehta, you're going to be better at explaining this one than I am, how this differs from cognitive therapy. This service is designed to retrain patients and accommodate for physical and cognitive deficits. Can you remind me what your months old notes?
This is number 2 under process.
No other questions on the back side of the page, or second page.
Oh yeah, questions. Oh yeah. Okay.
Is that really the same thing? It's just that we're finding an endpoint in a way?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the same. I think that's kind of the same. I mean, can cognitive therapy it wouldn't really be under PT. If number one would be, can cognitive therapy with OT, speech, or other modalities be added to the ABT eligible services? Same search for design. I think I think what we're talking about there is that when we're looking at verbiage about outcomes, it was, we're not always trying to cure or make, when you talk about neurorehabilitation, one of the goals is to improve your physical or cognitive skills, but the other is to train you on how to accommodate for those deficits. So is this ABT trying to create neurologic recovery? But we know at a certain point that's not really possible at this point. Or are we trying to educate them on accommodating for the current physical or cognitive deficits?
Okay, so thank you. It's refreshing my memory from our conversation. It's really, so cure isn't necessarily the answer here, the goal.
I want to add a point of potentially clarity here. So as we look at the addition of expanding the ABT, we'll say definition to include cognitive therapy. So under the requirements of the use of the fund I just want to read this and see what your reaction to it is. If you hear this, think, well, that includes cognitive therapy. Concerning spinal cord injuries, funding of at least 15% of the money in the fund for A, post-acute extended treatment and services for an individual with spinal cord injury. Is cognitive therapy considered a post-acute extended service?
Sure.
Yes.
And we're already covered too.
Okay.
B is, or facilities that offer long-term activity-based therapy services at affordable rates. So we have, in both of those, brain injury and spinal cord, by the letter of the law here, both of them have post-acute extended treatment and services for an individual with spinal cord injury or brain injury.
Okay, good. Okay.
No.
Cognitive therapy is, and we rescind the vote.
I think I'm asking, the board members that understand this space, and I'm happy to clarify that with our legal office, but I think, as I read, not necessarily being the expert in this space, post-acute extended treatment and services, like, how would cognitive therapy not be considered a service to post-acute injury?
True. Great. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
You don't have to go to roll call. Well, we're asking questions. Everybody,
No, I would agree. Yeah, there's nothing, I think we're covered. I think this is more so a matter of fine tuning what you've started here to put more kind of meat around if we're going to award service delivery organizations. We have, I think, the flexibility to define what we would approve from a board perspective for post-acute extended treatment services or activity-based therapy. And maybe we redefine what we even call this RFA.
Right.
That's
That would help. Yeah, I think it would help.
Because I think people see ABT and then it's just like.
It's almost like a
somebody
brain
understands
dance.
it.
Okay. So what should we call it?
I think that would be the ask the experts, what should we call it?
If we want to follow, again, what's written in statute, is there a way to call it something around post-acute extended treatment services for? I mean, I would not recreate the wheel, but just pull directly from here to make sure that. Well, that's where I think you could define what what the board interprets that to mean.
Yeah.
And that would be under the eligibility requirements, I would think.
Right, so technically post-acute services, anything after the hospital, so that includes. So that my one concern is that also includes outpatient physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, but we want to make sure they're providing a new treatment, not just what's considered standardized care of outpatient physical therapy, occupational therapy, and cognitive speech therapy, correct?
Novel post-acute.
Novel.
Novel.
Good word.
Well, it's, I guess there's a question. So in terms of the newness of, got two, I guess, two ways to think about newness. One is this Evansville clinic, there, you know, there's no one offering this service in Evansville. So it's new and it's a new patient population, a new organization, but the treatment modalities are not new. They're the old standards versus someone who's got something, I don't know what that would be, but someone who's got, you know, laser guided surgery for, you know, whatever. They're two virtual reality. Yeah. Yeah. There's like two domains or two dimensions of new. And I guess our, you know, question for you all is that
Are both restrict yourself.
yeah, this, it's new. If it's a new population with the, if it's, you know, it's an underserved population or, you know.
That's what they did with that Congressman Peppermint, who was using that device to talk to people at the way back when. I mean, it wasn't going.
This,
That was novel.
Yeah.
so this isn't that assist people who are already established, right? So
That was our interpretation and my thinking is that if it's, you know, if somebody's already in business, if it's NeuroHope or RHI and they've got capacity to treat 30 patients and they want to treat 40 patients, it's not money for that. It's like if Evansville wants to start something they're not offering right now. And I guess one question I have though, if RHI says, you know what, we really think there's a need in Winnemac, Indiana, would that be new? Existing provider, but a new geography. I would think that would count, but I don't, that's one person's opinion.
Or what if something like RHI is like, we want to provide a brain injury yoga service at our hospitals. We don't, that's not covered by insurance as traditional PT, but we want to provide in our current location, brain injury yoga or something like that. Would that be something that would also count then? In an already established practice, offering a new kind of non-traditional service?
That definition.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think that's another way of thinking about new.
it is then Mr. Freeman eligible,
Pardon?
then is Mike Freeman eligible to apply to this?
Well, you got conflicts of interest issues you got to deal with the state on that one, but yeah, I guess, I mean, if it's a new, I think that's,
That hypoxic and intermittent hypoxic therapy. New.
Yeah, so Mike, Mike was offering the hippotherapy, the horse-based therapy, and then RHI was doing a lot of those hypoxic, high-intensity gaits. So there was a lot of research being done at current
Exactly.
locations that are providing therapy already. So maybe it opens up some opportunities for, get some funding for some of their research studies that they're already doing. That might be under the research wing or branch.
okay, so we've got new company delivering either a new type of service or existing service, current modalities. Then we've got existing firms, existing healthcare providers providing either they're offering services to a new population that's not served right now, or they're offering something like hippotherapy or
Just
whatever.
the new services or new technology, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
To ensure you have a good number of
It's a little tricky to be new service. So
Say again.
a little bit new service somewhere that doesn't have it.
Well, I think that's part of what the review committee would have to be. Is this really, if it's all said, well, we're gonna open up in Noblesville. Does that really count versus going to, Plymouth or somewhere that's far away from current providers?
That can be frowned upon, I think.
What, making that decision, one versus the other, or?
No, just
Okay.
saying, well, a new- That's just, like you say, yes, it's a new service to a community, but as far as it now, it isn't.
Well, it's novel in that it's a patient population that doesn't have good access to, well, just way I think about it.
So, but that's a way to look at it, but why? Why don't they, what are you doing differently that now it's available? not because of money we're giving you, but I have somehow that has to be worded, but I don't know, the approach has to be different on how it. It's like, you know, there's CBS down the street, this one's not doing what they.
Right.
I think, I would say, I think emphasizing the underserved part of it too for those communities might help with that, because it's not just
And
opening a
what you have
new,
to do to treat that underserved population.
right, that
What you
is
do.
not available to them in that area or don't have access to that service because of transportation, those types of things, to get to like your big centers where they could do that.
Okay.
You know, yeah, it's just,
Okay. How we clean this up? I'm just trying to get back because we won't meet before we need to go back.
with this first part.
Yeah. Well, I think we're close, but I'm just thinking, we're probably gonna,
Close.
So you would next have a board meeting in the spring, right? And so then before the RFA is published.
yeah.
Good.
Although we're probably gonna want, I would think we're gonna want to start to increase awareness. If July, we will meet in February, or March.
Yeah. I mean, it's-
Well, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure you don't want to go out and tell people it's all this, and no, it's really only this
to put
part.
something together.
Okay. All right, yes, all right.
Couldn't we?
Okay, so then I'll,
Could be circulated via email before we meet as a.
Make a shared doc and
Yeah.
send it out to all the board members and everybody can have a opportunity.
okay, great, okay.
So before we get off this, the template that the applicant's gonna use,
Right.
there's no way they're gonna make a 20-minute presentation. They're gonna be up there for a long time. So
Well-
I think this has to be condensed so that it gives them a little more freedom, because if they're gonna have already, just imagine they have 15 slides. That's 15
Well, what we-
minutes already.
Okay, well, we could do, and what I've seen done in other places, okay, here's the suggested slides. That comes into the review committee beforehand, but you got 20 minutes to present. And, we ask them to, it's really up to them to make their key points. It's not by talking faster. Are there parts of here that, I guess the question, Howie, then is, are there aspects, are there slides here? I agree, this is, 14 slides in 20 minutes is,
Well, it could be 17 if they use the optional ones also. And so they're not gonna ever get close to 20 minutes if they fill out the requested information.
okay, well, we can talk about that now, or maybe Dr. Mehta and Mike and I can get together and try to pare this down to a reasonable presentation length.
Yeah, I think let's do that way with Mike, and we can also, I think maybe 4 or 5 of these points can be mandatory. The rest of them can be like, feel free to include information about some of the following, and then make a list of these other remaining slides. So.
If, just for education, this is a really nice application outline.
Yeah.
Why can't this be the application?
So what I was gonna say is, why don't you not do presentation?
Yes.
Why don't you use
This
the
is what
letter
you
of
want.
intent to
Okay.
collect as much on the front end of the interest?
Yeah.
That can be vetted by the board,
Yes.
right on this guy,
Yes.
or a separate review committee of board members, however you guys decide. And then if you pick and choose based on what you're seeing, obviously I think you'd want some kind of criteria to say, this is a standardized approach to this process.
Mhm.
And then you rid yourself of the presentation
Yes.
and ask them to submit an application. You just build out those components
Yes.
that makes up your application.
Yes.
I would say something that we asked in our trauma care commission funding was for sustainability planning, and I'm not sure if that was in here. And maybe that's not a fair question to even ask based on what we're wanting to fund here, but okay, it is on there. So
Okay.
take the next 6 months to circulate, maybe not 6 months, but put more meat around this, and then come to the March meeting and say, hey, what's everybody the spring meeting and say, what's everybody think about this new approach?
And have somebody, when you publish this, have somebody available who will be able to answer questions and be able to either do like an infomercial or do something. So that
We could do do like a webinar.
Yes,
I've seen this with NSF grants or others where you just there's a web, Tuesday from 2 to 5 or 2 to 5, 2 to 3.
yeah,
We have people available.
yeah. This is really nice.
Maybe the other one I would suggest on that, number 7, impact and social outcomes. I think given our conversations, I think it's supposed to be to use metrics or testimonials if available. And I think, right, we were suggesting that we would want them to use metrics, not whether they were available, but they would have to identify, what those metrics are, but we would want metrics associated with it. Right.
Okay. I'm trying to think why the presentation, I don't disagree with not having the presentations at all. We're trying to make this simple, but I guess I don't want people, I really want them to think about this as like a slide deck. I don't want, our goal was to not have people, writing a 15-page, 11-point aerial.
Yeah.
Certainly with, just spend weeks doing it.
We built our trauma care commission, funding template. That's a terrible way to describe it, our RFA, into like a simple 4-section narrative based, tell us what you're going to do. And if we took that from our partners at NCH, that had previously released, similar to this, trying to be as simple as possible for external organizations to come to us and say, hey, we want to do good. This is how we feel like we can do good.
Yeah.
So I think what I can do is I'll share that with this board as well, just so you guys have a little bit of a runway there, of what we did in trauma space. I don't think it's gone quite as well as we would have liked, for a couple of different reasons with regards to the rolling basis and the nature of the decision-making process for the review piece is difficult with the existing membership on the Trauma Care Commission. When you think about who's coming forward for trauma system development grants. So long story short, I'll share that and that might help with this to an extent.
Okay.
As a way to not make it so demanding.
Yeah.
To apply for it.
Right.
I think you condense some of those probably down into fewer, or combine them to what you're suggesting now.
Yeah. Okay. It's a tough balance, right? Because we want to be mindful of, is this successful? Is this funding well granted?
Right.
Versus we don't want to make individuals not come forward and potentially not get.
Well, especially because we've
funded work because we made it so challenging to even submit something.
And we're talking to organizations who aren't grant writers.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to make it simpler. But at the same point, the counter is true, though. If we make it too easy, then, it's, then anybody applies, and then it's like you're getting people who aren't really willing to commit to it.
Yeah.
Yes, Julie?
I apologize if it's already coded in here, but maybe as you're condensing, add a slide for timeline. So if you want to see what it's going to just ask them. And when you might have milestones.
Well, we could do like a milestone timeline slide.
Yes.
Okay. Julie, if I could ask you to set up a conference call with Dr. Mehta and Mike and myself. Anyone else would like to participate, but. Pardon?
Right.
By when?
You need Brian.
Oh, probably if you'd be willing to be there, that'd be great. I say try to do sooner rather than later, just because it'll be fresh in our minds. I'm gone next week, but the week after that. November, I'm in good shape, so.
Yeah, that'll work with me.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mehta, you needed an evening call?
Can you repeat that, Julie?
You need an evening call?
Yeah, an evening call after, it'd be better after 5:30 would be better for me.
That's fine.
Got it.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I'll start to do some markup on this in advance of that meeting. And Julie, I'll send, if I could send it to you first and you can kind of opine on it.
The results of the election. And we're dying to know.
Yeah, we're done. No, happy to share that, Dr. Howie has been reelected as the chair for fiscal year 26. Congratulations. Oh, Dr. Mehta,
Yes.
do you have any awareness around BIAI and the planning for a conference? I know we had previously talked about that. We had met once, maybe twice with myself, you, Wendy. Has there been any other activity or update on the Brain Injury Association side? That
They
you're
actually,
aware
they did a
of?
really short, about a month ago, they did a kind of a mini conference on their own, at the Neuroscience Center. But, yeah, I think there's still plans for a bigger one together with both boards or both committees. So, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think we can maybe make that a priority for like 2026, 2027 to kind of have those discussions moving forward.
So let me follow up with you and Wendy. I explained to the group prior to you joining that, we're a little bit limited with regards to our planning capabilities, or at least what we used to have available to us.
Okay.
And I think some of the more immediate next steps are exploring other avenues, whether it's standing up a more formal planning committee to get this done, or looking at other potential partnerships to help support that planning process.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I think, yeah, I think brain injuries maybe has a little bit more capability to help plan. And then obviously I think the benefits of the combination would be some of the basic science research and hearing some of those presentations as well when we kind of, when the BIAI is a little bit more kind of survivor focused and maybe more, clinical focused, getting some of the basic research together in the same location with those same providers interacting with each other, I think would be really neat.
Great.
Great. I had a thought about how to restrict the word, I'm just thinking of an online application the other day and, there are a bunch of boxes to fill in and they have a limit on, up to 750 characters or whatever. We could limit it that way. So sure. Yeah, that'd be easy. Put page limits on. Or page, do you have a capability for online applications where you can limit words or characters?
Yeah.
So maybe a way to know which sections are really important by its 2,000 words or characters and other is 50 words or something like that. So,
Yeah.
okay.
That we adjourn.
Wait, you
Take a roll call now. Meeting is adjourned.
No.
seriously, does anything have to do with anything?
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.